guys, welcome to Appalachia's Homestead. Patera here with a video for you today. I'm getting a ton of questions, on how and why, we're in January, am I getting, on average, 3 to 4 dozen eggs a day. So I'm going to go over this with you. I'm going to help you out. Okay, this is how we do it here at Appalachia's Homestead. Always do what works best for you and your farm. Always, give things an opportunity, and we're going to teach you how. Okay, so if you know anything about our homestead, we have a lot of chickens for an average farm. I am going to guesstimate, because things have kind of changed, I on average have somewhere in the range of about 70 to 80 pretty good laying hens. That means when I say pretty good, that's going from to awesome. That is dependent upon age is the main factor. I have hens ranging from less than a year that are laying for me all the way up to almost 5 years old that are still laying for me, okay? Obviously the 5-year-old girls are not going to be laying as much as the 1 or 2-year-old girls, but they still do give me eggs. Let me give you some tips on how we do this. I have a couple of theories, and I'm going to set this down here so it doesn't fall, but I have a couple of theories and things that we do I'm going to show you. I'm not going to tell you what not to do, I'm going to tell you what we do, okay? The first thing that I'm going to talk about is how I supplement my hens. Now, if you've watched my previous video on how we feed our chickens, I go over almost all of this with you. These things generally are in that, but I'm going to just zone it in for you. We are very big into a good feed for our hens. I do buy feed for my hens and my roosters and my babies because I have a lot, okay? I also like to make sure that I have a high amount of protein. In other words, I never go below 16% for my hens, okay? Never do. Some folks bump it way down. The feed can be really cheaper if you do that. If that's an issue with budget, okay, that's your deal. I don't do that, okay? So I try very hard. In fact, I don't go below 16%. So we have the feed. I also am very big on cleaning my barn. A dirty barn or a dirty coop is an unhealthy coop. Now, if you are winter bedding, that's fine. You're doing the deep bedding method, that's fine, because you're taking out what you need to and you're putting in clean bedding all the time over winter. That still can be a very clean barn or coop. We try to manage our nesting boxes daily. I try to clean out our nesting boxes and put fresh bedding in at least once a week. If something happens or an accident happens in the nesting boxes, that gets completely cleaned out immediately. That does not sit and wait, okay? That has to be taken care of. So cleanliness and good general feed and good clean daily water goes a long way for healthy hens. You want to know how we supplement to get this down here? That's what I'm going to show you. Here are some of the things that we do. I didn't pull everything in here, but I will talk about it. Also, before I do this, we give our animals, particularly my chickens, my Great Pyrenees, and particularly my pigs, I give them the pour-off of my raw milk. That is not every single day, depending on what we personally need as a family. We come first, but they get a lot of raw milk, so they're getting that special treat there. I also give probiotics in maybe yogurt form. If I've got it, I give it. But these are the main things I'm going to show you right here. If you have a coop, a barn, a run right now in the winter, they're probably not having access to a whole lot of greens, okay? That's very normal. Here in East Tennessee, up until now, we overall have had a very warm winter up in the 70s, which is abnormal, and we've had a lot of rain. That's changing in the next 2 days. That's why we're out here. We're getting big time ready for a big time weather change. But I've been bringing my girls all the greens I can get my hands on. Now, they have a huge pasture. But right now, the wintertime, the pasture ain't looking so hot. Everybody's in that boat. So where I don't let them out to free range, or where they don't have access to, or near the road or whatever, if there's dandelions coming up, if there's clover coming up, I bring it to them. If my garden needs some turning over, which I've done in another video, I take 5, 10, 12 hens, I put them out there, I let them compost. So they're working my garden and getting all of the supplements there. But generally, every day, this is what we're doing most of the time. First and foremost, if you have not tapped in to black oil sunflower seeds, you need to tap in to black oiled sunflower seeds, okay? Extremely high in protein. I read it's like 26.6%, don't quote me on that, but black oiled sunflower seeds. I give it to my beautiful little hens. I give it to all my babies out here. I don't give it to my chicks because obviously there's too small, but I give it to all my pullets, my large pullets, my hens, my roosters. I let them have at it, and even my goats desperately love this. I do only in the mornings because I try to avoid non-GMO corn, and definitely I don't do any soy. But I do a small throw of corn. The reason I do corn is because it helps them to generate heat for their body. They have to do a lot in order to in their metabolism. It raises their body temperature to digest the corn. So that is why I give them corn. There is a plethora of grains that you can give your hens. You can give them oats and oatmeal and all types of different grains. So we have a new bag of grains coming out today doing that. So the main thing, however, is the black oiled sunflower seeds and the greens right now. The rest is just a kind of a throw out. So it's probably not really doing a whole lot other than giving them a little treat and to raise the heat because it's winter. The main thing you need to know about that is because if your hens are cold, that doesn't mean they're not surviving and not doing okay. But if they're really cold and they don't have a warm environment or it can raise their own body temperature, they're not going to focus on giving you eggs. They're going to focus on surviving, which is generating heat for their body. Okay? So if your hens are thrown out into a very small, non-insulated, really nice straw packed in coop where they're free ranging all the time, then while that may be good in a lot of ways, if they're cold, probably not going to give you a lot of eggs. You're already up against the wall with cold weather and lack of daylight. So I'm not going to go into that. Hens have to have a certain amount of daylight in order to produce a lot of eggs, okay? Well, that jumps into supplement lighting. I use 0 supplement lighting. That's all I'm going to say about that. I have a video on that. You're welcome to watch it. We don't leave the lights on in the barn, people. It would be so ineffective in terms of paying my bills for electricity to do that. It's not worth the eggs. So there is no supplement lighting. I'm not going to stretch my hens out in terms of what I feel they need, if they need a rest, and I'm not going to burn my coop or my barn down because I want a couple more eggs. I do not do that. End of discussion. Another thing that you can do is you can, oh my goodness, eggs. Now you're like, I'm trying to get eggs. Why am I feeding them eggs? Well, it depends on your situation. My ducks are giving me an egg per hen per day right now. My khaki Campbells are incredible. So I take advantage of that. If I'm not selling my duck eggs and if we have some left over, scramble them up. Actually, you know what I actually suggest? Hard boil them and mush them up with the shell and feed it back to your hens because they need the calcium. You can do it with egg shells, you can do it that way, or you can also do it with oyster shells. I have a bag of oyster shells. That's for calcium. Okay, that's to not necessarily help them in terms of laying the eggs, but that's to help give them calcium so you're going to have nice shells on your eggs. This is how I balance their diet, okay? 2 more things that I do. I'm going to set this down. Actually, 3 more things. I'm headed out here in just a few minutes, and then we're going to be cleaning the barn. I love to sprinkle garlic powder and oregano in with their feed. If I open a new feed bag up, I sprinkle a little bit of this in there. The next thing that I sprinkle is Diatomaceous Earth. If you've watched any of my videos, you've known that I'm a big advocate for DE. I'm an advocate for it in my barn. I'm an advocate for it in my home. So I've been using DE now for it's 5 years. Have never had an issue with this. Something's going right with me. Something's going right with my birds and my animals. And I just stick with what I know. It seems to be working, and I do believe in this. I buy the white food grade Diatomaceous Earth. I buy it from Permagard. I sprinkle this in their feed. I buy non-GMO feed that has DE in it as well. You want to keep that at a ratio of about less than 2%, just to give you, so it's like a sprinkle, okay? When I clean my barn and I feel it's rained a lot or there might be issues, I sprinkle a little DE. I sprinkle it where they dust bathe. I sprinkle it there with wood ash and things like that. Because why Is that going to make them lay eggs? No, but I feel it's effective in keeping them parasite free. If your hens are sick with parasites, and you may not truly know if they are, they're too busy focusing on trying to just be and be healthy. They're not worried about giving you eggs, okay? So that is the approach that I take. A cleaner coop and cleaner barn, a healthier, consistent, well-balanced diet, and natural supplementation without supplement lighting is the route that I choose. That may not work for you. Last but not least, and I talked about clean water, we give our hens and our barn clean water at least twice a day. It doesn't take very long. A lot of folks say, you spend too much time cleaning your barn and too much time giving clean water. Really? No. This is the priority, and this is how we do what we do. If you want to have a healthy farm, if you want to have a healthy barn, if you want productive, healthy animals, you got to work for it, okay? The last thing that I do, which I've mentioned many times before, is apple cider vinegar. Type in apple cider vinegar and you're going to see 1.6 million articles on how this can benefit you. It's believed to benefit your animals as well. I give 1 tablespoon per 1 gallon of water. Out here, twice a week minimum. If I have baby chicks, they get it every day. So that is what I do. I buy the Bragg's. It's my preference. I have made my own. I bought other brands. But at the end of the day, when time is crazy, I pick these up, especially when they're on sale at Kroger or wherever you may shop. Last but not least, I want to talk about the cycle of a hen. I think a lot of people get into things and they haven't done their homework. If you've been homesteading for 25 years, you should probably, you're shaking your head, you go girl, I know all of this. A lot of people are new. So I always tell you in your new adventures of homesteading, okay, there's nothing wrong with being a newbie. I find a lot of the newbies do the best load of homework. And that's what I'm going to continue to urge you to do. Do what works best for you. Do what works best for your farm. Try different things. Some of these things may not be available to you or you prefer, then don't do them. It's okay. Just like with your own personal health. But what I want to mention is study the life cycle of your hens and your breeds. Not every breed is going to give you the same amount of eggs as the next breed. Not every hen within that breed is going to be as good as the next, okay? I can brag on one barred rock and not brag on the next, okay? I can put down a 5-year-old hen and absolutely glorify the next because she may not be giving me eggs, but she goes broody all the time. Every hen, just like every human, is different. You need to understand the breeds that you have. You need to understand the breeds that you want and what they will and can give you. Understand how they tolerate cold weather, okay, or heat. So always understand what you're dealing with and what you're buying and what's going on because it's automatically going to tell you why things are going the way that they are. Study your environment. Study your coop. Are your hens stressed to the max? There's different factors that can cause stress. If I was a hen and I was stressed out because the dog's always chasing after me, or because my coop is not insulated, or if I had parasites, that's putting stress on their body. They're not going to lay eggs. So there's a whole lot of ways to skin a cat, per se. So do your homework. Check it out. These are the things that we do, and so far, they have been wonderful, and I highly encourage you to do so. As we're talking, I'm looking at 2 hens laying an egg right now, right across the way in my nesting boxes. So we're going to get over 50 eggs in one day, and it's going into the 2nd week of January. When the weather dips way down to close to 0 next week, I hope I get 12. It's just the way it goes, and that's okay. If you like what you see here at Appalachia's Homestead, be sure to like and subscribe. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest. We love you guys. Thank you so much for your support. I can't ever say it enough. We will talk to you soon, and I hope this helps you out. You know, try these things out. Like old sunflower seeds, greens, it's common sense. Y'all take care and have a great time homesteading. We'll talk to you soon.